Good evening. I warmly welcome our esteemed guest, Dr. Tanaka, former IEA Executive Director, Dr. Yoshikawa, and Dr. Tatsuomi, their fellowship from Canon Institute for Global Studies, CIGS. Let me begin with a famous name for Iranian and maybe for Japanese people. Nisho Maro. Nisho Maro is an important name for Iranian. This is the name of crude carrier. Idemitsu Company is a Japanese oil company chartered the obscure Nisho Maro tanker with Panamanian flag that successfully loaded Iranian crude at Abadan, avoided British naval interdiction, and delivered to Japan in April 1953. During the dramatic months following Iran's nationalization of its oil industry under Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh, a little-known Japanese trading company made history when Western majors, including British Petroleum, imposed a total embargo on Iranian oil. The issue of Iranian oil imports by Japanese oil companies after the withdrawal of the Western consortium led by British Petroleum and the sanctions on purchasing Iranian oil remains vivid in Iran's memory. Iranians have always held an extremely positive view of Japan, Japanese products, and Japan's rich culture. When Iranian wants to describe something as being of exceptionally high quality, whether it's a device, equipment, or consumer good, they'll often say it's probably Japanese. Yeah. In this meeting, I am honored to be host for your excellencies. For first question, Mr. Tanaka, Japanese perspective on the Middle East and its cooperation with regional countries, is it solely focused on energy security and securing oil and gas supplies, or does it extend beyond that? Please.
Thank you very much, Rafi-san. Yes, Japan import lots of oil and gas from the Middle East. We depend more than 90% of our oil from the Middle East. And Nisho Maro, we remember as well as you that this is a very important experience or historical development that Japan must cooperate with Iran in the crisis. So after that, we have developed a very good collaboration relationship, and Japan definitely needs the energy resources from abroad because we don't produce any fossil fuels in Japan. And also the future of the renewable energy. Yes, Japan is trying very hard to develop the renewables and also nuclear power for the future options. But Middle East oil and gas will continue to play a very, very important role for us. So we have all the, let's say, the respect of our good collaboration with Iran or Saudi Arabia or other countries in the Middle East. Otherwise, Japanese economy cannot really continue to survive. So energy security is most important international issue or diplomacy for our country, especially after the Ukraine invasion by Russia. We felt that we are getting more problem because if Russian oil is not available for us or Russian gas, still we import 9% of gas from Russia, we are vulnerable So now we need the future relationship of the Middle East. Of course, fossil fuel will play a very important role, but we have to think beyond the fossil fuel. Because definitely, let's say, a country like in Europe and also China are trying to move more into the renewable energy sources and nuclear to be energy security. Because it is true that still we need to use fossil fuels, but reducing the dependency on the fossil fuel by renewable energy sources and nuclear could be a very important tool for energy security. So China is using the electric vehicle, batteries, electrolyzers, or critical minerals. Everything about this decarbonization is China's strategy for energy security. Europe is doing more or less same thing. And they are working maybe more closer in the future. Then what Japan should do? I think Japan, Korea is the same thing. We are 100% importer of oil and gas now and also in the future. So we need to be energy securitized is probably not only fossil fuels, but we also need more dependency to the renewables and nuclear power. But unfortunately, because of the accident in Fukushima of the nuclear power plant, nuclear has nuclear still has a serious problem of the public acceptance. So future of Japanese energy security, just as you put me into the question, I think we also need the hydrogen as a cleaner fuel. And hydrogen can be produced with the renewable sources and electrolyzer or fossil fuels with carbon sequestration. It is called blue hydrogen. Green hydrogen or blue hydrogen. And Middle East will be a huge supplier of green or blue hydrogen because you have natural gas, you have oil, you have solar power, and very rich resources may produce the decarbonized or cleaner source of energy for the future. So Japan needs everything. We need, of course, fossil fuels, especially gas as a transition fuel, but we have to move further into the cleaner sources like hydrogen. And I think as a player, Japan has to work much closer with Middle East for the CCS, carbon sequestration project, or blue hydrogen or green hydrogen project for the future. So I think yes, Middle East will continue to be an important supplier of fossil fuel, but at the same time, transition to the cleaner source of energy of the future.
Japan imported blue hydrogen from Saudi Arabia.
Correct. It's a test case, experimental importation of blue hydrogen from Saudi Arabia. You're right.
What is the level of cooperation between Japan and UAE and Saudi Arabia? What are the most important fields of cooperation?
Still, we think the supply of oil and gas is the most important elements of our bilateral relationship with Saudi Arabia and UAE. But future, if we move further to the decarbonization, this blue hydrogen or green hydrogen could be additionally getting more important for us. So we have to work closely with these governments about the CCS project or hydrogen or ammonia as a carrier. And ammonia is very interesting because ammonia, green or blue ammonia, can be used in coal firing in the coal thermal power plant. So by doing so, the coal is always a very easy target of the environmental friendly people. But by co-firing with clean ammonia, I think we can reduce gradually the carbon dioxide emission toward zero, because if we use that 100% clean ammonia thermal power plant, it is carbon free.
Thank you.
So I hope this technology, which is started with JERA is a joint venture of TEPCO and Chubu Electric, may have a good implication, not only for Japan, but other Asian economies, which needs more and more this kind of transitional technology of clean thermal power plant, because they have huge coal thermal plant, but at the same time reducing carbon emission. So our model can be applied to these growing Asian demand, and that certainly means that Middle East, Saudi Arabia or UAE, and eventually the Iran will definitely have a huge potential of exporting blue, green ammonia or hydrogen.
Thank you so much. Dr. Yoshikawa, in the electric vehicle sector, China is far ahead of Japan. Why has Japan, which has set 2050 as its carbon neutral target, fallen behind China in this area?
I see. Well, thank you very much for a very good and controversial question. Let me put it this way. We understand that China is leading this EV industry, global EV industry. And as you just said, Japanese companies are sort of behind. That may be true. But at the same time, the Japanese government, in terms of, say, future ongoing policy support, as well as direction of the automobile industry in Japan, they're putting utmost emphasis on the development of advanced future vehicles, including EV, of course. This is, I don't know whether the Japanese companies can be catching up or even exceed leading companies, probably Chinese companies. But at this point in time, I'm not fully sure. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure that the Japanese companies are doing their best to proceed this goal as well. This is how I see it at this point in time.
Thank you so much. Dr. Tatsuomi, how do you assess the potential for cooperation between Iran and Japan under two scenarios: maintaining sanctions versus lifting sanctions? What recommendation would you, as experienced policymakers, offer to leaders of both countries?
That's a very big question. Thank you very much. Well, I think the discussion we had this morning with IPIS on the decarbonization and renewable energy, we've explored many potential areas for cooperation, and we are very pleased to kind of explore the potentiality, and that is something that we can keep with or without sanction. And the environment is a kind of asset that humanity shares. And so this is our first trip under this topic, so we have to explore more. But with sanction, and I don't know really exactly what kind of problems you have in terms of pursuing renewable energy in this country, But as far as Japan is concerned, or our organization is concerned, we have plenty of cooperation without touching the limitation of sanction, I felt. And if there's no sanction, I think the potentiality doubles or maybe becomes huge. And also, we have had a joint research project on woman empowerment between Japan and Iran, which was very successful. And that's something that is a kind of asset, shared knowledge about what's going on with women, how they make their entrepreneurship successful. And that was a comparative study between Japan and Iran. And Japan has been kind of start seeing those entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs, and they have their own problems, but most of them are very, very eager to make progress. And that is, we saw the same kind of orientation in Iranian women starting business, small businesses. And that is also some huge potential that we think that something that we can do jointly. So I don't know if I answered the question, but that's my answer. Thank you.
Professor Tanaka, what's your opinion?
Well, I sincerely hope that sanctions will be lifted sooner rather than later. And
in the Persian, we say inshallah.
Yeah, but well, I'm cautiously optimistic because my good friend Minister Araguchi is in charge of the negotiation. He is really wonderful ambassador to Japan, and I know his diplomatic capability is really great. So he's the best person negotiating the bilateral agreement with the United States for this nuclear treatment. And I sincerely hope that he will come to the conclusion as soon as possible. I think for both United States and for Iran, some agreement is really important, and the whole world is watching carefully what's going on. So rather than saying the sanction being continue or not, but I think, and I hope, but I think the lifting of sanction is happening. So if we think that way, I think we can consider the more collaboration between Japan and Iran and also United States. One of the proposals which I am making is that the collaboration with the nuclear power. Because nuclear power is the issue of this negotiation. And Iran is committed to the very peaceful use of the nuclear reactor. So does Japan. So, and we are discussing at the Canon Institute of Global Studies, what is the sustainable model of the nuclear? And we have the special technology in the United States, in the Idaho National Laboratory, which is called integral fast reactor, which is the feature of passive
like
safety.
4S.
Yes, exactly, like 4S of Toshiba.
Yeah.
Correct. It's a very similar type of the Toshiba's 4S. And metallic fuel fast reactor with pyroprocessing. And has a very good nature of safety, taking good care of the radioactive waste, and resistant in the proliferation risk. So this is the kind of very interesting model for sustainable nuclear reactor for the future. And Japan and Iran can work with the United States, building the new model for the future of the nuclear. And this is a beautiful collaboration for both Japan and Iran and also US. So I really want to see this kind of collaboration happen sooner rather than later, because the risk of nuclear weapon, because of the the Russian invasion of Ukraine, triggering that many smaller non-weapon states are tempted to have the weapon, like North Korea. So this kind of situation should be managed by the international collaboration for the peaceful use of the nuclear. And nuclear power is very important for decarbonization and energy security. So for that, I think, thanks if the agreement between US and Iran can be made sooner. And I really want to make this a kind of joint project between three countries for the future peaceful use of the nuclear power.
Yeah, of course. Please.
Okay, thank you. On the issue of sanction, I don't have much to add to what has been said by the two previous speakers. But let me say in this way. I also do hope that the sanction will be lifted as soon as possible. But at the same time, at least at this point in time, the window is open. I mean, it's a negotiation between the two countries going on, at least. I don't know whether it will be concluded in a successful manner or not. But at least the window is open, which is rather good or better than, say, 6 months ago. This is how I personally see it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Yoshikawa,
Yes.
About LNG. Japan has long been one of the world's major LNG customers.
Yeah.
How much potential do you see for Iran and Japan cooperation in this sector?
Very good question. I understand that potentially Iran has been and will be one of the largest natural gas producer on the earth, which is really significant. And Japan will continue to need more natural gas. So there is supply, and there is and will be demand. And this is one thing. The other thing is as you just said at the beginning, Japan and Iran have both enjoyed a very good friendly relationship, cooperative, productive relationship. This is the second thing. So if conditions meet, we have a lot of possibility to work together on the issue. So meaning that we could import stable natural gas supply, LNG, in the form of LNG to Japan, but only if a lot of conditions meet. That's the only thing I could possibly say at this point in time.
Thank you. Dr. Tatsuomi, what opportunities and threats do U.S. and China tension create for Japan's economy and security? What do you think about it?
Opportunities and
threats.
trends.
Threats.
Threats.
Yeah.
Well, the security issues, I think it's unfortunately for Japan, it is getting more and more difficult, I think. No matter how official talks going on between Japan and China, we see many Chinese boats, defense boats, some sort of officials, ships going around in the South China Sea and around our territory. So it's a real kind of visible, if you like, pressure or some kind of power coming, and we can see it now, which we really never have experienced before. It's been like this, but it's getting more and more real. That's one thing. And secondly, we have Mr. Trump in the USA, and our security treaty with USA, which is our pillar of our security cooperation. We don't know really. It's just started Trump administration, and we have to see. But how we can have a more relation, more sort of strength in this security treaty with U.S. is not very clear as yet. So that makes our uneasy feeling toward China more strong, you see. And also the opportunities, I think that, I don't know, do we see China as an opportunities? Well, we cannot escape from China. It is it's our neighbor.
Japan is an export-oriented countries. Is this an opportunity for Japan? A tension between U.S. and China?
Okay, U.S. and China becoming a kind of international global society's core matter now, competition between the two countries. And does it give us an opportunity, you say?
Yeah.
By saying that the competition. I don't think it is an opportunity, but rather more unstable feeling. I think we see that China is looming very big, and U.S. didn't really take China as a competitor until very recently. And after maybe toward the end of Obama administration, and then it became Trump administration. That time, suddenly that the U.S. started taking China as a very competitor rather than a kind of friendly another big country. And also becomes more clear what China wants. And now it becomes a major power to maybe with the intention to change the world order with different ways of doing things. And so I don't think China, we would like to see somehow that these two big countries find a way to collaborate or less competitive, and that would give us more ease and maybe more opportunities. But at the moment, I want to be able to say that this gives us opportunity.
Thank you. Professor Tanaka, please. Japan was once a leader in robotics.
Okay.
And this sector still accounts for a relatively large share of Japan's GDP. What is Japan's current competitive position in this field compared to other global players like China?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think China is moving very fast of the robotics, especially by using the AI and big data centers. Certainly help China to be a leader in the electronics. So Japan is very much good at accepting robotics in our society. So that kind of acceptance of our society about robotics is a very good feature for Japan, and certainly many companies are developing the humanoid robots. Not only in the automobile factory, but it's getting more, the daily life thing. So, but problem for Japan, probably relative to China, we have to now, our market is declining of the country because of the population is aging, and the number of the population is decreasing. So our market itself is not promising for our technology. So we have to aim at more global community, global world for these advanced technologies, and the robotics could be the very possible area that Japan should put more strengths into it. Now, I mean, for example, in the auto sector, Japan was a leader in the internal combustion engine or hybrid. But now China definitely took over Japan by developing electric vehicle. It's a very different system, and China's, let's say, commitment to the electric vehicle certainly is a huge threat for the Japanese auto sector. Same thing. I mean, the robotics. Yes, Japan has a kind of advantage in the past for the, let's say, the plant sites and developing for the auto sector, etc. But will this continue? If Japan is not really engaging in innovation of the robotics, using AI and other new technologies, I think we will have problem. So I really want that Japan continue to use innovation in technology, innovation in the governance of the industry companies, and continue to be the leader in the robotics center. Otherwise, we are in trouble.
Thank you. Dr. Yoshikawa, in global view, artificial intelligence has become one of the most widespread new phenomena in recent years. Is AI just hype, or will it truly bring about major transformations in the economies of different societies? What's your opinion?
Very good question. Probably to answer your difficult question thoroughly, it is obviously beyond my ability at this point in time. I have to say this at the beginning. But yes, as you just illustrated, intelligence will play a very, very important role, including AI, probably together with digital technology and others, probably. Yes, so it will affect a lot of influence on various fields, including, say, of course, economy, social life and education, and even politics and security as well. So, as Tanaka-san just replied to your question on robotics, you see, we have, at this point in time, with global innovation on intelligence and all these AI technology. So at this point in time, to me, I see the uncertainty has been increased really a lot. But you see, under this big uncertainty, those who can see, those who can bet definitely on certain say, technology or certain directions or investment, in terms of investment. Of course, there would be losers and winners on those who bet on specific technologies. But see, all I could possibly say at this point in time is uncertainty is, well, technology innovation in terms of intelligence, AI, and all these things will be very important. That will affect a lot of things. This is one. The other thing is that's why we need sort of courage to see and to make tangible actions to make our future better. So this is how I see.
Thank you.
Let me add one thing. I mean, just the AI or robotics. China is very good at, using these new technology and test it in a much more open society. Japan or United States, we have such a regulation, so it is very difficult to make research and development of the new technology with open system. So I think as a test bed, and China has a huge population, so using these AI or robotics or new technologies, I think China has a kind of advantage
I see.
of trials and errors. And because of this nature of letting the companies to do the very new technology test and trials in the market, I think the companies are investing. The private companies in Japan or US is investing in China to test this new technology. So this is a very interesting way of attracting the interesting ideas or innovation into the country and to do something. So I think Japan or US or other countries may look a little carefully how China is using these trials and errors for the innovation, and I think we have to better copy it.
Thank you.
Interesting.
Thank you so much. Dr. Tatsuomi, let me return to energy. Do you think the oil era is over?
Oil era is
Over.
over.
Yeah.
No, not at all. I think oil, meaning fossil fuels, the demand for it perhaps will increase again during the transition to renewable energy, and also even the 2050 net zero scenario that IEA, International Energy Agency, says that 25% of entire energy will be fossil fuels. So, and also we have different technologies to use fossil fuels, but taking off carbon out of it, or CCUS, you put it underneath. And so we have different technologies now being developed in order to maximize fossil fuels, but as a clean energy. And this is very, technological changes are happening every day. So it gives a very different potential of fossil fuels, not just producing carbon dioxide, but it gives a new, I think, opportunities for human beings to create a different world with fossil fuels. I think it's a huge potential. So it will never go away, and it's going to be perhaps more important. And of course, you have, especially this region, the Gulf oil-producing countries, including Iran, has a huge resources, and so it is, you cannot just disregard it because of clean energy coming. Yeah. We have to think about how we can efficiently use that resources, and now different technologies are all arising because of renewable energy and the consciousness toward clean energy, very important. But fossil fuels is not negatively used. It's going to be more positively used in our conversation toward renewable energy and clean energy, and hydrogen also,
Of course.
So,
Raul-san, this question is, I think, definitely to me. As a former executive director of the IEA, this issue of when the peak oil happens is always our kind of
when
subject.
Oil happens.
Yeah, this is a question which always come to my mind and go and come and go and come. I had a very interesting experience with Saudi Aramco, the biggest oil company in the world. They had a board meeting in 2015 in Tokyo. I was invited to this board meeting together with, for example, Daniel Yagin. Daniel Yagin is a famous oil economist.
Yeah.
And
new
also,
map is new
yes,
work.
yes, and new map.
Yeah.
And another one is a Chinese professor who is also the energy economist. And the chairman of the Saudi Aramco asked us, Mr. Tanaka, Mr. Yagi, and China's expert, when the peak demand of oil happens. I was really surprised. Are you seriously asking this question to us? Why you are asking? And he said, because electric vehicle is now starting, carbon emission reduction is committed by many countries, so they are very concerned. seriously about when the peak demand of oil happens. Daniel Yagin said it is 2035. That is more or less common sense. Still, that is the time probably the demand peak may happen. In the IEA's report, it is said like that. So conventional wisdom tells us peak demand happens 2035. I said maybe a little earlier because in 2015, that was a year of the COP 25 in Paris, and China has committed to peak the carbon dioxide emission in 2030. Means that China's demand for oil will definitely happen before 2030.
It's related to coal or oil for China.
Yes, that's right. Well, the oil is very important for their fuel, and if the peak demand of oil happens in China by 2030, I think this means the peak demand of the oil for the world happens at the same time. And recently, when I talked to the Chinese economists about the peak demand, they say maybe it's much earlier. Even 2025, this year, their peak of fuel for the cars, autos, will be peaked around this time. So, I think Saudi Aramco is right, very right to concern about the peak and prepare for that. And the discussion about how that Saudi Aramco will face and countermeasure to this peak demand, they are thinking about hydrogen. Using the blue hydrogen from the gas or green hydrogen using solar could be the way that they can put their resources or revenues from oil into the new technology of hydrogen and surviving, even though peak demand of oil happens. So I think we don't know. Does it really happen 2030, 2035 or later? But it is better to prepare for that happening. So this is the same lesson to Iran. Yeah. While we have enough time and enough resources or revenues of oil and gas, maybe we have to invest into the technology which major country or oil producing country can cope with this kind of situation. And CCS, hydrogen, nuclear, solar, there are many different technologies which is already available. So I think Japan should work with Iran, should work with Saudi Arabia or Middle East countries about these new technologies and think about the future of the oil peak demand happens.
Thank you very much indeed. For the latest question, Dr. Yoshikawa, Canon operates in the electronics and semiconductor sector. But Canon is famous in Iran by film and cameras.
Okay.
Yeah. What's the current state of the global market and Canon's position in international market?
Very good question. In fact, even though I work at Canon Institute for Global Studies, I have to say that this is, as an institute, this is an independent institution. Apart from Canon, I don't know much about the company of Canon. But as far as I understand, I may be wrong. Canon started as a company working on producing camera. That has been the main business. That had been the main business for many years, and that made the company very globally famous for its quality and all these things. And then, because, well, as far as I understand, global market of camera has been saturated, and new products replacing camera had emerged. So the company of Canon shifted its focus from camera to other fields, including other, you see, IT business, copy machine, and all these things. This is how I understand, but I don't know the figure at this point in time.
Thank you. Thank you so much. At the end, I would like to thank Mr. Moezzi, Mr. Barseghian, and their colleagues in Khabar Online, and Mr. Mukhtari from IPIS. And thank you for your participation in this session. It's our pleasure to be host of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Very interesting discussion.
You're welcome. Thank you.